What's up, everybody? I am back with a new movie review, and today I'll be covering the 90s classic The Crow, starring the late great Brandon Lee, son of the great Bruce Lee. And honestly, this is probably like the best and most iconic goth type of movie of all time. And the entire aesthetic is amazing. Not too long ago, they just did like a new updated version of The Crow, starring one of those Skarsgård guys, and I didn't waste my time because I knew it was going to be poor. I want to put this on the list because and not only it's been a long time since I've seen this film, but also I just do not understand what it is about this film, because it's based off a comic book, first off, but also after this film there was a TV series that was, from what I remember, was fairly okay. But in terms of film, this this did spectacular, despite that, of course, behind the scenes, because of a faulty prop gun, caused the death of Brandon Lee. So towards the end, they had to reshoot certain spots. This film did phenomenally well, but every film since they try to do a sequel to this, it always do poorly. I do not understand. It's kind of like I'm about to say the Jurassic Park effect, but some might argue there's at least some fun Jurassic Park films. I guess Jurassic Park, because even though it was terrible, it's considered a fun film, but it wasn't a great film. But you catch my drift. It's just that, unlike the first one, the sequels have not been well received. Matter of fact, they kept getting perpetually worse. Even with like the more recent edition, you would think with the updated technology, at least you would think they had better writers. Well, it's Hollywood. There's a bunch of actors behind the scenes nowadays, so you can't give competent writing as much as we used to. But even still, it's just that it's like, what is it about this film that people just can't get right? Like, the first one is the only good one. I'm not even counting like the TV show or even like the comic book. I'm talking about the film part. But for some reason, only the first film has stood the test of time in terms of being great. I don't get it. It's like, what is like the missing components that people are not getting even after all these years? It's weird to me. I mean, if you got the answer, you can comment below. At least, take your best guess. But I can't even say it's like maybe it's Brandon Lee, or I don't know. Part of me feel like this movie's cursed or something. I'm not sure. This is because nobody can seem to get this film right. Because you got like an amazing kind of character of the Crow. Now, of course, Eric Draven is like the main kind of Crow figure, but it's kind of like a mantle type of title, because in the sequels there's always been other people who kind of adopted that persona, because they died tragically, and this Crow brings them back to life to right the wrongs of his death and of a significant other. And they semi-immortal because they're already dead, and the Crow's kind of keeping their spirit alive, pretty much. But man, I don't get it. I don't know what it is about this film that seems to can't get the sequels right. It's weird. Anyway, like I said, this movie stars Brandon Lee, directed by Alex Proyas. It's stars also Ernie Hudson as Sergeant Albrecht, Michael Wincott as Top Dollar, the main bad guy, crime lord, David Patrick Kelly as T-Bird. You got Tony Todd as Grange, Top Dollar's enforcer. David Patrick Kelly as a T-Bird, yeah. You got Angel David as Skank, Rochelle Davis as Sarah, Montu, another character. No, sorry. Yeah, Rochelle Davis plays Sarah, a young girl who was close friends with Eric and his fiance Shelly, who's also the narrator of this film. Shelly, played by Sophia Sinas, Michael Massey as Fun Boy, a junkie. Lawrence Mason as Tintin, a knife-wielding thug. Anna Levine as Darla, Sarah's drug-addled mother. So, the movie starts off with a snippet where this young woman is assaulted and violently assaulted in a couple of different ways, while Eric Draven was shot and tossed off of their loft to his death. And she dies in the hospital while Sergeant Albright comforts Sarah, who did, I guess the young actress didn't really act in anything else beyond this, but she did pretty well because, this is set in Detroit, Devil's Night, which is kind of like, the eve of Halloween, and it's just like she's saddened, but isn't kind of like wailing or anything like that, because I guess living in this city, given the crime run by Top Dollar, it's just like, that's her life. But you can still see it still affects her in some kind of way, because this young couple kind of looked after her. So 1 year later, because the sergeant pretty much took up their role in making sure he looks after the young girl, while I guess not shown any interaction with the mom, because we see her because she's messing around with one of the junkie that works under Top Dollar. The Crow brings Draven back to life, and I love this kind of jagged, sporadic memory he's having, trying to piece together what happened, because he died tragically, and he's pretty much like a corpse or a spirit or a combination of the two. So his memory is pretty addled. He's piecing it piece by piece, but piecing it together piece by piece, and he's coming back to right the wrongs of his death and his fiance's death. So he goes after Tintin, steals his long coat after he does his little makeup thing, because he got to get the classic Crow look, and he goes to the pawn shop owner owned by Gideon, played by Jean Polito, because Tintin pawned the engagement ring he gave to his fiance. He takes it back and he blows up the uh, pawn shop. Of course, he kills Tintin, but Gideon ends up going to Top Dollar with more attitude than he should be giving this guy, because clearly you know what this guy is all about, because this dude's psycho, but you giving him lip. You already coming to him with bad news. The last thing you want to do is like start mouthing off. Of course, he kills this dude, and of course, Tony Todd. You forget he was in this film, but he does an incredible job as it's kind of like an imposing enforcer. It gives us kind of warning that Eric Draven is coming for all of you, kind of thing. And of course, Albright and Sarah, are shocked to see Eric back to life. Explaining about what happened while he was gone, and because the city is so corrupt and Top Dollar pretty much like semi-owned the cops, he's never been brought to justice. So he starts picking off people one by one, in very creative ways, leaving out a little signature of a crow, from each kill. Is very, very cool. Golly. But when he goes after what he assumes is the last dude, after he kills off the junkie and forces the poison or the drugs that Sarah's mom has been putting into her veins, he makes her like, okay, you got a second chance. Be a mom to this woman, to this young girl. She needs you. She shouldn't be out wandering the streets, like she always had to do, because I didn't say, clearly it wasn't in all those words, but basically that's what it was giving. And I love this little dynamic between the two, because I always thought it was always all happening in one night, but it's in 2 nights. You see the moment where the young girl, who often had to pretty much raise herself or rely on the kindness of the sergeant or Draven's fiance to look after her, but now she's got her mom back. It's a little awkward at first because it's been a while since she actually acted like a parent, but it's a nice little scene between the two. It's not like a quick fix. There's a little stumble of getting everything just right, but they eventually found some footing between the two. We see Top Dollar, and he's in a relationship with his half sister, kind of thing, and she's obsessed with taking people's eyes, which is going to be very poetic in the end. And this is the same woman who played as one of the female hench ladies of the bad guy in Wild Wild West. I forgot Kenneth Branagh's character in Wild Wild West, Loveless. There he is. She played one of the hench ladies with Loveless in Wild Wild West. Crazy. What you find certain people in nowadays. However, she is the one who deduced that, okay, we empty magazines into this guy and he keeps coming back up, slaughtering our people. So, uh, uh, as he deduces, okay, we got everywhere he goes, this crow shows up. Clearly, the crow is the key. Take out the crow, take out the man. But we need bait. So they end up kidnapping Sarah, knowing that she had ties with Eric before. So the crow alerts to Sarah's kidnapping at this church. So he goes to rescue Sarah. Tony Todd, Gage, Grange, wounds the crow, which makes Eric vulnerable now. So you gotta be a lot more cautious. Albrecht shows up but gets wounded, but not before he takes out Grange. And of course, Mika tried to steal like whatever mystical powers within the crow for immortality for herself. But the crow pecked out her eyes, like I said, very poetic, and she falls to her death in this like bell tower that they're at, which now I'm thinking about it, is very reminiscent to Batman '89, which is only like a 5 years gap in between the films. Which, you can tell there's some Batman influence in this film. So a final battle ensues between Top Dollar and Eric. And Eric's fighting on a handicap. He's severely wounded, but Eric imposes the pain, the 30 hours of pain that his fiance was going through in the hospital onto Top Dollar, which messed with his mind long enough for him to trip and fall to his death, being impaled by a gargoyle. Cool image. So he goes to say says goodbyes to Sarah and Albrecht, and Eric goes back to his fiance's grave as her spirit comes to comfort him so he can finally rest peacefully. And with his mission complete. And that's when pretty much the movie ends. Now, I love the unique kills, and like this dude is not like a horror figure, but it's just kind of like a kind of like Spawn in a way. That type of anti-hero that moves between the shadows, and like he pops up where you least expect it. Wherever that crow is, he's somewhere nearby. And of course, I love, like, I'm not sure if it was Brandon Lee who actually knew how to play a guitar, but this dude was shredding that guitar like crazy. The ambiance is amazing, like the goth aesthetic, where you barely see any daylight in this film at all. It's just dripped in goth aesthetic. This movie is just like just amazing, like amazing world building off of small stuff that we're getting here. Of course, the citywide landscape is look like something off of like a matte painting or like some kind of model that we're looking at from a particular point of view. It doesn't look like an actual city. It's kind of like a little model on a matte painting kind of thing. It's like doesn't seem like a bustling city of Detroit. That part kind of threw me off a bit. The kid's narration was fine. Her acting, she, her bits and pieces that we got of her, she was, was like above average and stuff. I love the whole crying motion, even though she's not like fully expressing that, but she's kind of like it affect her, but at the same time, she has gone, she's grown numb to this kind of uh, carnage because this is the city is just like is a cesspool at a certain degree. Ernie Hudson is always great, and it's like really no notes when it comes to Ernie Hudson and darn near anything. I'm hard pressed of trying to remember anything he's in that he's the terrible part in. I can't, so I can't really comment. Well, like I do want to point out, like the whole pointless part where he got his boss breathing down his neck. That doesn't come full circle with anything. It's like, is he corrupt or he's just like an a-hole? Like, what was the point of that character? Because you could just have Ernie Hudson following leads and be like the Jim Gordon to the Crow, or to some extent. Didn't really need this extra character if it's not, because if it was me, if we're gonna put a character like this in, I would at least had him been like working for Top Dollar, and that's one of the reasons why he's getting out of so many bigger troubles than he probably should have. At least that would have added something worthy to have this character pop up 2-3 times in this film. But yeah, beyond that, this movie is pretty good. It's still pretty good to this day. I have so much fun rewatching this after all these years, man. And I don't know, it's one of those costumes like I really want to try, doing like the Crow for Halloween. But part of me also feels like, is that too corny? Or it's like, I don't know. It's like, I was, because I mean, like, you should, if you want to do it. It's like you don't have to worry about any kind of like what people might think. Don't worry about it. That's what I should tell myself. But it's just like some small part of me is like, oh wow, the Crow deal, like, oh yeah, sure. Like, you think we'll get bitches dressing as a Crow? And it's like, maybe I do. It's like there's like a significant amount of women out there in the world who has massive crush on Eric Draven to this day, especially the millennial girls, or people, girls that fit in that, even in the last parts of the millennial era, those girls have grew up on the Crow. But in any case, that was my thoughts on the Crow. I don't see myself ever checking out any of the sequels because they've all sucked. I don't get why all of them never got it right. And you would think the newest one, you would think they would have got that one right, because it was so long since the last time they tried to make a movie about the Crow, which was probably like mid 2000s, early 2000s. No, it was early 2000s. The last time I think they tried previously, and it still failed. And it's like, it's so long, and somehow still cannot get it right. You even got updated technology. Oh God, it's weird. And part of me thinks like, man, they probably should have nobody in the writers' room except for goth kids or something. Or people who grew up who were goth kids back in the day, or still have that kind of lifestyle, to be in the writers' room to make the Crow movie, because it's the only way to probably do it correctly. It's so weird. It's like, I don't get it. But anyway, that was my thoughts on the Crow. Still holds up after all these years. I love this freaking movie. But anyway, curious to know your thoughts. I will see you guys tomorrow for more gameplay of Borderlands 4. I won't be streaming Saturday because I'm going to be going out to this Nightmare Before Christmas bar that's downtown that I wanted to try out. So see how that goes. But in any case, I'll try to get some content down for Friday as much as possible, and I might stream some stuff on Sunday. But at any rate, take care, and I will see you all soon. Peace.